a very, very long time since we've done this. We are back with the Mr. Power podcast. We got a special guest today. We actually been did this a couple months ago, but something got messed up with the footage, so we had to run it back. Fish was good, man.
Shit, it's good, man. What's going on? It's a good, blessed Sunday. How you feeling today?
Good, good. Excited to kind of dive into this convo. How's life been these last few months? I know this is probably a good time for you. The movie's been smacking.
Yeah, it's been cool, Been at the festivals and whatnot, watching movies in the theaters, the TV shows is popping, man. It's been pretty good for content.
Yep, yep. Before we get started, I just want to give you your flowers, man. Low key, once we connected, I started getting more into like TV and film. Like I always love movies and TV,
Hmm.
but I feel like once I started seeing your content and like how you doing the recaps, like right outside the theater and like stuff like that, I was like, damn, like this is really a craft for real. And I've been definitely more invested. So, and you're definitely one of the few creators that I've definitely like connected with and been in contact with. So it's dope to see. I want to ask, what was kind of a defining moment in your childhood when you like really was like, oh, I love movies, I love TV, like I really like this shit. If there was.
Yeah, so appreciate you for the flowers for real. But yeah, what's the name? Honestly, it was like a slow build, realizing like up to around like I want to say seventh grade, I was like, man, what would I want to do for myself in my life? And then I started to realize just how much I really loved movies. And then it all started when I went to the theater, man. Seventh grade,
Mm.
it's changed my whole life. My auntie Bree, shout out to her, she took me to see the first Avengers movie in 2012. Boy, when I
Ooh.
say I walked into that theater, I was thinking, like, we're going to have a good time, a nice little comic book movie. Boy, my whole life changed after watching that movie. Like, that just set me off on a whole different path. I was like, whoa, how did they? I was like, how is this possible? Like, all these characters in one movie, and they actually made it good. Good action, good dialogue. I was like, that's where like the wheels got in motion. Like, yo, like, how was they able to do this? So that's when I started to do my research and dig in upon movies, and then I kept on watching movie reviews for other films because I love talking films so much to where like once you
Mm.
get me started, like it's hard for me to like stop in a way. So then like that's when I started to like watch other
Yeah.
fellow YouTubers like the Jeremy Johns of the world, the John Campias, all that. Just learning and understanding the craft from like a critic perspective, and then obviously I did my background at school, learning like the behind the scene, like behind the camera, in front of the camera work. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, I'm glad that Avengers movie, that's a crazy first movie to like to get tapped into. I think that's one of the best. That was like peak Marvel right there.
Yeah, because nobody knew what to expect coming out of it, because it was just like,
Yeah.
man, it's Avengers movie, man. It's probably gonna be corny. It's not gonna work, and then it's just, oh, that was the proverbial boom period for comic book movies that just changed the whole game.
I agree. So when you compare like movies to TV shows, which do you prefer? Which do you feel like has more of an impact?
Me personally, I'm more of a movie guy, just because I'm more connected to movies, like the whole experience, the ambiance, just the whole, going to a theater, being sat in that theater, and then the big screen, the theater going dark, and then the big bright screen, and just I like the narrative flow of movies slightly better than TV shows. Not that this TV, I love TV for surely, no doubt, but
Mm-hmm.
me personally, it's hard for me to connect with some TV shows just because it's a matter of you don't know if they're going to continue on or not. Like they TV shows can just get canceled just
Mm.
like that, and it's like
Yep.
whether like they don't pass like the pilot route, they get greenlit for the pilot, and then the studio don't want to proceed forward with the series, or it's like, oh yeah, this it's a good show. It's like 2 seasons in. There's clearly more, and then you end up getting canceled, like the show Winning Time. Like that's a prime example
OG.
right there.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's a good example. I feel like with TV shows, it's more of like a build up. Like you get
Hmm.
more invested in terms of like, well, okay, you meet these characters for a season, you meet them for another season, which where
Hmm.
a movie is kind of like just one overall experience where it's just guaranteed versus a TV show like you don't know if they're gonna get
Yeah.
renewed or not. So Do you feel like they're they're on the same level, movies and TV? Do you feel like there's a huge gap, or do you feel like it's just based off the quality of the TV show or the film?
Um, they're kind of somewhat on the same level in terms of like how TV shows are produced in today's time. Like back in the
Yeah.
day, there was a little bit of a gap, not in terms of like storytelling quality, just overall production value and whatnot. But we're seeing like the two are like kind of like on the same playing field. It's just a matter of how you want to tell certain stories, whether it be within a weekly episodic format or within like a 2 hour stretch, just in one contained stretch right then and there. So I definitely think TV and movies are kind of like it just depends on the show. So like think like our show Power. I'd say like yeah, it's pretty on par with like with movies just because the overall production value, the scope, the talents
Yep.
involved, and everything and whatnot. So it just varies based on the project. I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like TV shows nowadays are kind of shot more like movies. Don't you feel like with them having hour-long episodes, like Game of Thrones episodes would be like hour 15, hour 30. Do you
Mhm.
how do you feel about that type of format, that type of storytelling?
I love it honestly. I do when it's done right. You know, I obviously I despise the fact that it brings us to some shows not being able to be released within a year's frame. We got to wait like 2 years and change. But I kind of like that style. But if they're able to like tell it within a TV format, where shows
Mhm.
where I'm gonna use Disney Plus for example, the MCU shows where they messed up at is that they essentially shot and produced them as movies and just broke them up into six different parts. And then when you watch it, you just
Mm.
feel like, yeah, this was definitely just a movie that was broken up and extended to six different episodes. Because then once you get to the end, it kind of feels like rushed and just all of a sudden comes together. Whereas
Yeah.
TV, with the way it's produced and formatted, you're like how you have like a three-act structure within a film. It's like with TV, it's like certain sections of episodes. Like let's say like with Power, like the first three episodes is like the first act, and then you get like episodes 4 through 6 is the second act, and then like 7 through 10 are like the third act of how it all wraps together. So it's just a matter of
Mhm.
like how they are all produced and come together in the end, which is why it's like you got showrunners where it's really with TV shows, it's really the writers that are like handling things, and then when it comes to movies, it's really the directors and the producers.
So, in your opinion, what do you think should determine if a show gets greenlit or not? Like, what are the deciding key factors if it should go or they should trash
Phew, that's tough, man, because it's really
it?
it's really
Yeah.
like based on like that pilot episode to really
Hmm.
hook you. Like, okay, so we got the
Exactly.
pilot, we're shooting it. We're introducing you to the characters that are here. We're introducing you to the world that is around. So it's really just based off that pilot episode, that very first episode, where you're introducing us to everybody. It's like, okay, can this last upon like a 9 week stretch to where people are going to be
Hmm.
engaged and want to revisit these characters on a week by week basis, because that's who you're really following on TV shows. You're really following the characters and what their
Yep.
journeys and lives are. And so you got to really get us hooked, I feel like, onto the characters that are in this series, and then build around the world and the story of which we're going to be following them for the next several weeks or so. So that's how, honestly, how I feel, because it's like, and I heard with like Game of Thrones, I heard the original
Hmm.
pilot was trash. I heard the original pilot for Game of Thrones was trash, and that they really had to restructure some things. Is that they saw like they had like a lot of good rich source material to go off of, but putting it together in a series format, they had to restructure, retool some things, and obviously we got Game of Thrones as it is today. Because within that first episode, it's definitely a bit slow, but
Yeah.
once you get to the end of the episode, you're like, oh shit,
Yep.
I think I want to come back next week. And then it keeps you engaged on the next week and the next week and so on and so forth. It's just keeping the audiences hooked and engaged on a week by week basis to want to come back and revisit these characters and this world.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I feel like that's harder and harder to do now with
Mhm.
people having like TikTok attention span. If the
Yeah.
first 30 minutes aren't boom, 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 then they're clicking off. But you might have missed a generational show had you just waited like another 25, 30 minutes. Speaking of Game of Thrones, they got this whole like universe thing kind of going now. How do
Mhm.
you feel about that? Do you feel like that's one of those shows that they should have never spun off, or do you feel like they have something there?
I feel like low key they have something there. So what, like with House of the Dragon, they have the source material to go off of with that. So a spinoff on that end, I don't mind at all because you're entering like because you're going like centuries before the events of Game of Thrones. It's like I forgot just how many hundreds of years House of the
Yeah, a
Dragon
couple
takes place
hundred.
before Game of
Yeah,
Thrones. It's like so long to where it doesn't to where like it affects what the future is, but it doesn't. So where you're able to do your own thing within this whole world. So with like spinoffs like House of Dragon, like you have something to go based off of. I'm with all that. The Duncan Egg spinoff, I don't know too much about that at all. The one that's coming next year, the sixth episode that we
yeah.
spoke about. So they have some source material there from what I've heard. But when you get to things like what they were talking about at one point, the Jon Snow spinoff, when you get to stuff like that, that's when you're like,
Yeah, they dead
okay,
that.
but what are we doing here? We don't have anything
Yeah.
to go off of source material wise, which is probably why they didn't end up doing it at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So it's just as long as you have like the material to do it and like you have this world around to where you could tell more stories within that world, then I'm all for it. Just tell a good story and don't just do it just to do it. Like like what they would do, like a potential spinoff, and they would feel like they would just do it just to do it, but it's kind of interesting at the same time. Damn it, what's the young actress's name? Macy Williams or something. I forgot her character's name. Damn it, she's one of the Stark sisters, and she goes off to into the sea, off to her own adventure at the end of Game of Thrones. I don't know if you
Oh,
know.
the one who be fighting and shit.
Yeah, the one with the
I
masks.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
her.
yeah,
Like if
yeah.
they were to do a spinoff with her, it'd be like,
I don't know if I want to see that.
yeah, exactly. So you see what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like House of Dragon really hit that first season, and then season two they kind of just, they really started to lose my interest, but mainly because I've been invested for so long. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep watching to hope that they kind of bring us back in season three. But
Hmm.
the Jon Snow spinoff, I don't think there was ever anything there, to be honest. Like you said, with no source material, like what are you gonna go off?
Yeah, and then there, I don't know if you saw the news. Like it's been a while back, and it's clearly there. They have nothing off the ground for it, but
Mhm.
they was talking about doing a Game of Thrones movie at one point, which would be
Mm.
like, well, what exactly would you do it based off of? Because
Yeah.
there's definitely more stories to tell within that world of Game of Thrones for surely. Like Aegon's conquest, the discovery of the Iron
Mm.
Throne,
Yeah.
all
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that shit.
Yep.
Like there's stuff to go. So if you wanted to do like a 2 hour plus movie based on that, then okay, you can do that. But at the same time, with Game of Thrones, like how we were talking about, with some TV shows are produced like movies, Game of Thrones is already like produced like as a movie,
Hell
just
yeah.
in a TV format. So it would be like, okay, you can do a movie, but the show is already stylized like a movie. So it's just a how you manage it all. But obviously, there has been no real like talk about it since, so it probably won't even get off the ground.
Yeah. I agree. So, kind of sticking with HBO,
Mm.
we do have news that they are filming this new Harry Potter series. Now, I don't know about you, but as a kid, I was a huge Harry Potter fan. I seen all the movies in theaters. So when I heard about this series, I was like, "Oh, y'all better not play with this shit, man." Because this was already a masterpiece. Like y'all did not need to touch this. How do you feel about this? Apparently, they're saying that this show might run 10 years. Like they're trying to
I
kind of
just saw that
mirror.
this morning.
Yeah. So how you feel about that?
I mean, based off of like at first when they first announced it, it's kind of like, why reboot into a TV format for this? Why not just bring Daniel Radcliffe and the whole gang back and just do what is a whole nother book, just bring them back and do a whole nother movie.
Hmm.
But then once they started like announcing like their true plans and just the amount of attention to detail that they are putting in, like it's like it kind of gives you a lot more hope and faith into it because it's clearly like this IP and Harry Potter clearly means a lot to them, and they value the IP of Harry Potter truly. So I feel like they're in good hands. And once you find out who's show running it and the writers that's behind it, like there's some high quality talent behind the camera for this series and pinning the
Yep.
screenplay. Like writers from the show Chernobyl. I don't know if you heard of that, but Chernobyl,
Yeah,
it's some
yeah,
other
yeah,
shows too. Like, so they are bringing the heavy hitters. They're not just going out and getting no random schmo out in LA to write this thing. No. So, and
yeah,
then also too with the
yeah.
casting, they were like they went across the globe and did a whole like several month process
Wow.
trying to pick the cast out. And I think the young boy who's playing Harry, he looks just like him off the book,
Yeah,
off the cover of the book.
just like them.
Exactly. So and it seems like they really have this planned out, thought out production wise. They're going to cover each book each season. And at first, we did. Me and you talked about it was a report. We were saying it was like 6 episodes, but then somebody else came out and debunked that shit. It was like, nah, it's gonna be 8. I'm like, okay, that that gives us a little
Mm,
more. That's
yeah,
somewhat
yeah,
better.
yeah.
And then also too, what they're doing is very smart because kids age quick, so you got to move fast with some of these
Mhm.
projects. So they said they're shooting the first book for like several months, taking a 1 month break, and then immediately shooting season 2, which is the second book. So it seems like they
Wow.
actually have a set plan and structure to make sure this comes out properly, and they're able to tell more story within the TV format that may not have been able to been told from the books in the movie format. So I think there's good hope in this series, honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that because, like, it's very rare that you get a show that's greenlit for a decade off rip.
Hmm.
Like, even though it's based off some material that we've already seen, we don't know how these actors are going to perform. We don't know how the show is going to resonate with the audience. So, what do you think it is that, like, they're trusting this show to do? Like, 10 years is crazy. Like, they got a
Man,
whole format of like how they're going to age them and everything. What do they know that we don't know?
I think they just have faith in the writing team and the just the talent that they
Mm,
purely have, and just
yeah,
they have because it's not only the books that they're able to go off. They can also go based off the movies and see what they did right and what they did wrong and what they may have missed. So they have a ton to go off of in order to try to perfect this series. And what they're doing is just that they're showing a good sign of faith and hope and like, hey, this is Harry Potter. This is a massively, massively popular IP, and this is something that could truly be special. And
yep.
if you saw the numbers for just that reunion special with Daniel Radcliffe and the gang, just them coming together was sky high.
I
Like
remember that.
people was
Yeah.
crying tears of joy just seeing them back together. So yeah, I think it's just the IP of Harry Potter now. Don't get fucked up. They could if they don't like what they seeing from the first 2 seasons, they can cut that off
Scrap
right
it.
off the
Yeah,
rip.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think just because how much time they took and going across the globe casting and getting the writers room together and the showrunner, I think they know they have something special in their hands. They're just showing good faith into it, which is a good sign. You want the studio to have faith in your project.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that they went around the globe. They must have kept that shit like quiet because I didn't hear about this show till they started filming.
Yeah,
Like literally, I seen the random picture of a little kid day one. I'm like, holy shit! Like, where did this come from? They really kept that shit under wraps.
yeah. Unless you like really like into like the trades, like Deadline, Hollywood Reporter,
Yeah,
like I could definitely see how it just crept up
yeah,
on you. Like, oh shit, Harry Potter show, what the fuck? And
yeah.
and
So
another thing
I
too,
wanna.
real
Mhm.
quick, another thing, HBO don't put out no bullshit. They don't put out a
Facts,
little outside
facts.
the idol, which we gonna
Hmm.
pretend that don't exist. But
Oh
HBO don't put out
my
no
god.
bullshit.
Oh, I don't want to give that show no. I don't want to give that shit no.
Bro, I don't know if
No,
you know. Did
like,
you know that it was originally 6 episodes and they cut off an episode midway while the show was airing, and they only aired 5?
wow. I'm not surprised, bro. I didn't even watch it, but just the stuff that I was hearing and like some of the scenes I've seen, I was like, yeah, they probably realized like, damn, we kind of tainted our name a little bit by putting this out. So I
Hmm.
fuck with HBO. They usually put out good content. Which brings me to a show that apparently is just now done filming, Lanterns. I'm
Hmm.
very excited about that show. I'm a big fan of Green Lantern. What do you think about that? What do you think about the casting? I think they said old dude who was in Superman is going to be in it too.
Hmm. Yeah, Nathan
Yeah.
Fillion's Guy Gardner.
Yep.
Yeah, he gonna
Hmm.
be in it. That's my guy right there. But no,
Yeah.
I'm excited for this Lantern series because it seems like it's kind of like I get a little bit of buddy cop vibes just from that one picture we seen, and
Yep.
it's
Them
essentially
walking.
how yep Hal Jordan's Green Lantern and John Stewart coming together, probably trying to solve some type of mystery that's happened on Earth, maybe involving another Lantern. And the casting clearly you casted it's Aaron Pierre, right? Yeah, Aaron Pierre. Yeah, Aaron
Yeah.
Pierre. Aaron Paulson, I can't
Mufasa.
remember. Yeah. Mr. What's the name of the Netflix movie? Yeah, Aaron Pierre.
Yeah.
You clearly casted him a much younger. I think he's still in what his late 20s, early
Early
30s.
30s.
Yeah, early 30s. And then you cast what's his name? Damn, he's cool. But as Hal Jordan, who's a
Yeah.
much more older Hal Jordan, obviously. Clearly, what this show is obviously setting up is that what's his name? Not Hal Jordan. John Stewart's Green Lantern is gonna be
Yeah.
the central Green Lantern in the DCU moving forward. So this
Hmm.
could be a little bit of a passing of the torch, like, hey, I've been doing this for so long. You're the official lantern that protects the Earth. And I wonder
Hmm.
how Guy Gardner comes into play. Like maybe he dies in the series. Who knows? But I'm excited as hell for this series.
Yeah, I was curious because I'm like, dude, look a little old. Like, how is this gonna work? But I kind of like what you said. I see some people saying in the comments that kind of it's gonna be a passing of the torch type of thing because Aaron Pierre is pretty big right now. He's been in a lot
Yeah.
of projects lately, so it seems like he's kind of taken over. How
And
do you
John
feel like
Stewart's
this
Green
show is
Lantern.
gonna?
I was just
How
gonna
do you
say,
feel like
like a
this?
lot
Oh,
of
go
like
ahead, go ahead.
kids, like this generation, like that John Stewart is their Green Lantern. If you're like in the '80s or
Yep.
somebody, then Hal Jordan. But for this generation, it's smart to go with the John Stewart, put in some diversity into that cast, and a lot of people know
Yeah.
this Green Lantern as their Green Lantern.
How do you feel like this series is going to play into like James Gunn's DCU universe moving forward?
I think it's gonna play like a pretty big part, just trying to introduce the whole Lantern Corps and where they fall into this new DCU. Because let's keep it, we didn't even there was no Green Lanterns in the former DCEU outside of like one or two,
Literally.
like one shot in that Justice League movie of one lantern.
Yeah.
The lanterns had no presence whatsoever. Now I get, you know, the Ryan Reynolds one was pretty ass, and that probably scared the studio off from
Terrible.
wanting to do another Green Lantern. And then it doesn't help that Ryan Reynolds shits on that Green Lantern movie every chance he gets. So that probably
Yeah.
scared them off from that for a little while. But now, what I think what James Gunn is trying to do with this Lantern series, he's trying to really establish the Lantern Corps and their presence within this DCU. And I'm pretty excited about it, man. Also,
Yeah,
speak
me
unless
too,
you got
man.
something else, let me ask you about. I don't know if you've heard, since we're already talking about HBO and the DCU. Have you watched the first season of Peacemaker?
I haven't, bro. I've heard people talk about it, but it just doesn't interest me. I personally am not a huge fan of John Cena as an actor. I just see him as a wrestler. Like I don't think that he's interesting, but
Hmm.
I don't think as an actor he captivates me enough for me to like. But I heard it's popular though.
Yeah. Did you watch
Yeah,
Gunn's Suicide Squad movie?
I is the one with Will Smith in them.
No, that's not Gunn's. That's the shitty one.
Oh yeah. I haven't. I haven't.
So yeah, I think honestly, bro, when you get the chance, because season two is going to drop in a couple weeks. Watch
Yeah.
James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I think you would love that movie because that movie's wild. And I think
Yeah.
it'll
Okay.
he'll John Cena will kind of win you over because what you were saying, like before you watching that movie, you'd be like, I can't dispute anything you say. But
Yeah.
John Cena as Peacemaker, he perfects that role. So he does good in the movie, and then once they gave him his own show, and then you realize like, oh yeah, there is a lot more he can do, and John Cena can carry his own series. So, and honestly, before the Penguin dropped, I thought Peacemaker was the best DC series that they've ever made, and probably was even top three best comic book TV shows ever made. Like that's how good it is, bro. I highly recommend you tap into Peacemaker, bro. Just give it a
Oh,
chance.
so you think it's on the level of Penguin?
Yeah, it's like I say like before Penguin dropped, I think I had Peacemaker as the best DC comic book series ever. Probably one of
Wow.
like top three
Okay.
best comic book TV shows ever. Like the writing is that good.
I'm intrigued. Wow. Okay. Okay. I definitely got to tap into that. So I want to talk about a topic that is very very spicy right now. The BMF,
Oh shit,
the
here we
Black
go.
Mafia family.
Here we go.
I received a lot of backlash for giving my honest opinions about this show. Um, I will say I did like the show when it first started,
Hmm.
but it's kind of tanked. How do you feel about this show? How do you feel about this season? And just the whole storytelling of the BMF or what is left of it.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. BMF, man. Where do I even begin with this shit? Um, so BMF, man. Like you said, that first season,
Yeah.
it was good. 50 Cent, he was like clearly had like a lot of hope and faith into it. BMF is gonna be bigger than Power, which I never bought into that shit when he first said that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because 50 gonna be 50 to try to hype the show up and try to get it greenlit at the time. So I get it. But yeah, it was like at first glance, it did take me like a couple weeks to get started onto the show, just because I'm a Power guy, and then you got this BMF. It's a whole
Yep.
new show like you're trying to get me invested into, and then it's just Big Meech's son playing him. It's like, oh, that's what we're doing. All right, what the fuck ever. Not everybody can be O'Shea Jackson Jr. Damn it, not everybody can do that.
Facts.
Which I'll turn back around to that when I get to Little Meech. But yeah, BMF as a show, the first season was fun and it was intriguing. It was interesting. I was like, okay, we got these two brothers and how they built up their organization, this enterprise to become as big as they were. It's like, okay, there's definitely a lot you can do with this. And then you get to season two, which is like you start to see the crack starting to show, and it starts to, you got Lamar wilding out the way he was with the eat my shit thing. And like when I seen that scene, I said, I
Yo.
literally did this with the watch, like, so this is where we're going with this. Is this supposed to be a self-aware show or something like to where we
Mhm.
are aware that this show is as bad as it is, or just have fun with it? Just I don't know. And so I thought season two was okay. Season three, I don't know what the fuck they thought they were doing with that one. That was just. And season four, man, the first episode, I was like, okay, we learned a little something. It's cool. And then as each week goes by, it just and I said this too. I think we was talking about it a while back, just with the whole beat between Meech and 50 Cent. It's like,
Mhm.
all right, there's gonna be a big microscope on Lil Meech and his acting ability this season, just based off the beef that's going on. So he better
Yep.
bring it. And unfortunately, what I feared came to fruition is that we have to finally just admit, like, Big Little Meech should never have been given the lead of a whole TV series. Like, yes, it's cool that he has the 2 years of the acting school and whatnot, but it's clear he does not have a true serious passion and love for acting.
Yeah.
And that's why I
Yep.
brought up O'Shea Jackson Jr. Like, not everyone, just because you have a son who looks exactly like you, that does not mean cast him in a role about you. That's not what that means. O'Shea Jackson
Yep.
Jr., he clearly loves acting a bit. And you can tell, like, with Straight Outta Compton, he did great for the part that
Yep.
he was given. I bet you he was still doing, probably getting acting coaching skills on the set of Straight Outta Compton. I would bet money that's what he was doing too. With Lil Meech, you could
Mhm.
tell, like, after like the first season and a half, he just stopped trying. In season four, you could tell in some takes, it's like, motherfucker, are you high in this take? Like, like
For
50,
real.
like I guess 50 wasn't lying when they were saying, like, oh no, he was pulled up the set high. He looks out of shape. Like, I don't want to talk about his physique, but
Yeah.
he looks out of shape this season compared to previous seasons. It is just, it's glaring. It's wild. What a shame that this show turned out to be, man. The floor is
Yeah,
yours now.
man.
You let loose.
I agree. I feel like it killed my perception of who Big Meech was. as
Mm-hmm.
as a icon or whatever. Like growing up, you hear all these stories about Big Meech. You hear him in songs, like people gassing him up. I'm like, okay, like this is a good chance for them to kind of depict like his story. But then you also see like in the beginning episodes, they're like, oh, it's loosely based. Well, to me,
Mm-hmm.
that just means that none of this shit is real because, especially this season with the Mexico stuff and like some of the storylines, I'm like, yeah, there's no way this ever happened. This did not happen.
Corny.
Yeah, it just didn't happen. And you would think that now that Big Meech is out and he can be somehow involved in the project, maybe it would like elevate it a little bit, because you can have his expertise. Like he could be on set and kind of coach his
Mm-hmm.
son. I don't know, maybe. But again, it just seems like a lackluster effort show. I remember seeing Gianni Palo say on a podcast that, yeah, like you could just tell, like, it's not easy to make TV. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not everybody could do this shit. So I'm disappointed. I really hope this shit don't get renewed because every season that they keep this shit going, it just makes the BMF legacy look a lot worse. So I hope
Yeah.
they scrap it because I don't see where it's going at this point. Like, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere towards the end. And
Yeah.
50 ain't fucking with it. He ain't promoted once. I ain't seen him promoted at all.
I only seen him promoted when the trailer first dropped and he was
Yeah,
posting photos with Da
yeah.
Vinci. That's it. And then he would post some petty shit and actively black out Beach face in a photo.
Yeah. And even Big Meat, even a little Meats, like I haven't really seen him promoting the show like that either, which is crazy because it's his show.
Yeah.
So that just
Remember,
kind
I
of tells
told
you
you at
what
the
it
film
is.
festival too, it was glaring. It was like, why is Da Vinci the only one up here? Where is Meech? And
Yeah,
it's
like
both of
in
them on this
Vegas.
poster.
It's very sad. But I think we got like one more episode, so we'll see where the season finale goes and hopefully series finale goes, and we kind of go from there.
Listen, if you're talking from just a purely quality control standpoint, if I'm a studio exec and I'm looking at this from a quality control perspective, I'm like, guys, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
We're kind of tainting the brand right now with keeping this show going. Because stars when they show is popping, they love to pop off them viewership numbers. It's
Yep.
been
Yep.
relatively quiet for
You ain't
season
heard
4.
nothing.
You ain't hear shit. When
But you know what's
book two
crazy about that though?
Vital season was jumping, nigga, they was
Yeah.
flexing those viewership
Yeah.
numbers.
Flexing. But that's what I don't understand. Like season 3 was really bad, yet they got green lit. And I don't think this season is as bad as season 3. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they got pushed for another season. But again, like the numbers, they haven't released any of that, which is interesting. Like you said with Ghost, they put the numbers out after the first episode. They was telling
yeah,
us what the numbers were. We ain't heard shit from this, so
yeah. I think what
maybe
it
it'll give
was
them
for
time
just
to.
from that season premiere for season 3, it was like high viewership. Like, oh, BMF, the brand was popular at the time. Still, like, it wasn't
Yep.
tainted or nothing. But then once they watched season 3, it's like, oh man.
Mm-mm.
And then you just see, like, I'm just scrolling around social media, the different various pages, Twitter, Instagram, everything. It's like, yo, it's relatively quiet on this show. With power jumping, as soon as I open,
Yeah.
like, shit, right there, BMF,
Yep. Everywhere.
nothing. Unless you're actively shitting on the show, the numbers have been down for that series.
Ah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I hope they just ended it and free all of us from the distaste because we know it's a filler show. That's what it is. It's a
That's
filler show.
exactly
So transitioning to another star shows. Obviously, it's been a little while since we've had any power,
what it is.
but we have had a couple of announcements with Power Origins being greenlit for 18 episodes. They didn't really specify in what format that will be in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've talked about the Power Legacy show with Tariq and Tommy that's in development as well. How do you feel about the state of all of this shit and where things are going?
Excuse me. I like it. I really do. Especially on the more so on the prequel side, because obviously there's more creative freedom that you can kind of do in a way.
Yeah,
Not necessarily like source material, but you have material from the OG series and now raising Kanan to go based off of to continue building this out of. And it's like a natural progression of things. Like, okay, We told Kanan and his story, his family story, which is why we kept trying to tell people be patient with young
Yep.
Tommy and Ghost. They're coming. This show is just Kanan and his family. They would not fit. They would be a distraction, and rightfully so, because raising Kanan is great because it stands out on its own because you're taking place years and years before the events of the OG Power series, and you're
Mhm.
introducing us to really Kanan is without the character of Kanan, there is no power if you really think about it. His character is kind of the one that really sets it all off in motion in his journey.
Facts.
And so I'm loving it. And so obviously the next progression of things, like we're gonna go to Power Origins, Young Tommy, Young Ghost, and then you're obviously bringing back Makai Curtis as Kanan again. And 18 episodes, it's like, oh man, y'all are building out this world. Y'all have a set vision in place. Like
Yep.
for 18 episodes, that's rare, just right off the rip.
Hmm.
Now, do I think that's gonna be all in one season? I don't.
Right now.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Only Hollywood reported like saying, "Oh, it's going to be season one," but all the other articles did not specifically state that. To where I'm easily like, it's not going to be 18 episodes because that's going to be a shit long filming time. It's
Yeah.
better to
Yeah.
just kind of split them up between two seasons from just a business standpoint when you think about it. So but
Hmm.
that just shows me like they have a lot of faith in what they're building out because the writers room, they got the green light, got Makai Curtis. Now they're probably casting around the globe, probably around the country, for
Hmm.
young Tommy and Ghost, which that shot me interesting. And I'm really intrigued. Like you know something I'm really intrigued about, low key, when you think about it, is learning about the journey of young Ghost and Tasha and how that love formed because there's
Mm.
clearly because Tasha is a soldier at the end of the day, despite what you think about her. She is a soldier. For Ghost to want to sit there and marry her, there
Yep.
had to have been like some good budding chemistry and romance. So I'm interesting to see that because we saw that with a lot of the Angie side of things. So now what I
Hmm.
think they're gonna do with Origins, they're gonna show a lot more of the Tasha and Ghost side and how their relationship built up because Angie's only going to be in it so much because we know she goes off to school. So I don't even think she's going to be in
Yep.
it as much. But Tasha, oh yeah, she's going to have a huge part, I think, to
Yeah.
play in the series. And now with Power
Yeah.
Legacy, that's going to be interesting to see. Just it's more so just I'm interested in revisiting these characters and seeing how they bring them together within this world and who would be there to support them, whether it'll be in a different location because I don't. If you're gonna have Tommy and Tariq back together, I don't see how you do it in New York again. I don't
Mm.
unless you do a section in New York and then another section somewhere else. If you want to do two separate cities or like three, I just don't see how you do it. Now you see the fan theories. One person posted like, "Oh, we think it's going to be take place in New Orleans," which I don't know where the fuck you got that from. New Orleans,
New Orleans. What the
New Orleans.
fuck?
A lot of people think L.A. for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how that one's crafted together. But obviously, I'm more excited for the Power Origins side of things.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm very skeptical about the whole power legacy thing because it kind of feels like a money grab to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it really just feels like, oh well, we got these two left. Why don't we just put them in a show together and boost
Mm-hmm.
our viewership? Because people are gonna tune in and watch, regardless of what they think. If they're skeptical or not, they're gonna tune in just for those two people. And
Exactly.
if you have other people from the previous series, that only boosts the morale. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, like storytelling wise, is going to really captivate people. I think it'll be just kind of more of a fun watch than anything. But the origins, like you said, I'm very intrigued by every aspect. Like who they're gonna cast, who's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be in it, how much of the material from OG Power is going to like connect. Um, but Sasha Penn is doing the show, so I know
Mm-hmm.
he'd be on point. Like he doesn't fuck around. So I think he'll do a good job. I'm just like, how long is this gonna take, bro? Because 18 episodes, depending on how they're gonna split that up, even if it's just two seasons, they're splitting it up. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna wait a minute before either of these shows airs. Like, I don't even think Legacy has been like officially greenlit yet.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, we just kind of waiting. It's floating in the air. Um, so I guess they're trying to drag things out, but I don't know. I don't know. They gotta. I want them to not take too long
Hmm.
because people will lose interest and like will get they'll go on to other shows and move on to other stuff.
Yeah, I think slowly but surely, kind of like you remember how they did the rollout for Power Book 2 Ghost during like while Power Season 6 was airing, how they would do like small tidbits of updates, how they were like specific with what stills and shots they would show, like how they would only show like stills like, oh, it was Mary J. Blige and the
Mm,
young lady who plays Diana. They only showed that still, and they
yeah,
kept putting information about Mary J. Blige because she's Mary J. She's a big name.
yeah,
But obviously, the show was going to be about Tariq, but they didn't reveal too much about that because season 6 was airing. So I kind of think that's the same kind of lines that they're going to go about. So they're probably, I could since the show is greenlit, they have the episode count. Makai Curtis, he's signed on. They're doing some more casting right now. I think cameras are going to start rolling. I want to say about by spring next year. I want to say about around early March. I could see cameras start to roll,
yeah.
and I predict we're going to see season one around summer of 2027. I say about a May June release 2027. I think,
Golly,
and what I think,
that's
yeah, I know it seems like it's a
a
ways off,
minute.
bro. I'm ready for it. Trust me. But at
Yeah,
least we're gonna have the final season of Raising Canaan to kind of hold us over a bit for a year, and then
yeah.
they're probably gonna do like because they kind of with Raising Canaan they move fast with their production because they have their story of what they
Facts.
wanted to do. So I because you notice every time we get to like episode 2 or 3 of Raising Canaan that season, they're already filming the next season. I think
Yeah,
they're gonna go along those same lines. So they're gonna film all of season one per se. Let's say they split the 18 episodes in half. They're gonna film all of season one at one point, take like a month, 2 month break, then get to filming season two, just so they have it ready and on the deck since they were set for those 18 episodes. So it's gonna be a while, but it's not gonna be as long,
too
I
long.
feel. But Power Legacy,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you just gotta be patient on that joint.
Yeah, I like that idea of filming and then taking a month, 2 month break and
Mhm.
then going back and filming again because like you gotta just lock down the actors, bro. Because if you try to
Mhm.
like let them go do other projects and then the timing and the scheduling with these people is gonna be very difficult. But with the fact they're probably gonna cast people that we don't know, I think it'll be easier to kind of lock them down
Yeah.
anyways. So yeah, budget wise, they're gonna be good there. So I want to talk about anime. Are you into anime? Are you in that realm? Do you like anime? Have you watched anime? How do you feel about that? Because I've never really heard you speak on anime like that.
Listen, I love and respect the art of anime and the storytelling. It's just I haven't really sat down and made the time to explore other pieces of anime in a way. Like
Yeah.
I'm a diehard Dragon Ball fan. You can't see it now, but I got a whole fucking Dragon Ball Z Blu-ray collection on
Yeah.
top of my shelf right here. So that's
Okay.
mainly my whole gist. But you know, I heard recently, technically speaking, that King of the Hill is an American style anime, which is still anime right there, technically speaking.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
That shit ain't no anime, bro.
But
Animated
yeah.
series.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
somebody say something along those lines. But yeah, I'm more so just a Dragon Ball fan. I do want to get into Naruto. One Piece, just too many goddamn
Don't
episodes.
bother. Don't
Too
bother.
many goddamn episodes for that one. But I am definitely trying to explore. My friend too, he's trying to get me in tune with anime. So anybody you want to put me on to some good anime, man, put me on, man.
Bro,
You know my
I
style is
got
Dragon
you.
Ball. I like that.
I got you. I feel like you would really enjoy anime because it's purely just focused on telling a story. Like
Hmm.
there's no agenda. You know what I mean? It's just story, 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 story. I definitely say Naruto is a good one.
Hmm.
But that's obviously a little bit longer. I'd say like if you're just starting out, you probably want to like start with like something like Death Note. Death Note is really good. That's a really good story. Attack on Titan is really good. That's a really good one.
I
And
heard.
there's some other ones. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Attack on Titan is crazy. Like that's. That show will have you binging like once you get locked in. Yeah, animes are great. Animes are great. I was a little bit skeptical too. Like people used to tell me watch anime. I'm like, bro, that shit corny as fuck. Like I'm not watching that shit. But once you find like that one show that you resonate with, oh, it's just like you know what I mean. But you do got to pick the right ones because there's a lot of goofy shit out there that you got to like filter out.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of good anime if you just filter out the right ones for sure.
But hey, speaking of anime,
Um,
how do
yeah,
you feel? I don't know if you heard, but now let me ask you if you don't know. How do you feel about a live action Naruto movie?
absolutely not.
Okay, let me
Absolutely
add you.
not.
Let me give you a little bit more context and detail for who's helming the movie. Guess who's helming it?
Oh my god.
The director of Shang Chi and the new Spider-Man movie. Gave you a
Of
little bit.
Shang Chi, the Marvel joint.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's my thing, right? I'm very tired of people. They not everything needs to be live action. Like
Mm-hmm.
it can be good. It probably can be good, you know, depending on who's behind it. But I feel like Naruto's one of those shows where, like, bro, just keep it anime.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a live. You don't need that. And it's like the expectations are going to be so high that you're probably not going to meet them. Like the people who have seen Naruto will tell you, like, Naruto was one of the GOAT shows. Period. Anime
Mm-hmm.
TV, whatever, whole thing. So trying to replicate that, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, bro. Good luck. That's all I say. Good
Yeah,
luck.
you're gonna have a tough task to follow. Another thing, I never finished the series for whatever reason. It's my fault. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, I gotta get back
Mm,
in tune with that. I heard some
that's a
people
good one.
really do like the live action series on Netflix. I don't know if you watched. How'd you feel about it if you watched?
I haven't seen it because there's been a few live action movies that I've watched that have just kind of killed the morale for me to where like I'm
Avatar.
very hesitant. Yeah, that there was a live action movie for that, and there was a Dragon Ball one, bro. That was so bad. That shit was so bad. I vowed to never watch a live action thing again. And there was one for Death Note. There was a couple
Oh, the
animes that
Death
got
Note one was
live.
ass.
Bro, so bad, bro. So bad. So I'm like, unless it airs and everyone's raving about it, then maybe like I'll tune in just to see what it is. But I'm not anticipating any of that stuff because they it kills the source material for me. It kills it.
Listen, Dragon Ball Evolution is in the unholy trinity of worst movies ever made. It's
Yeah,
not just a bad
ever.
Dragon Ball movie. That movie is just bad
Terrible.
all
Yeah.
around. I think they honestly that movie's so bad they scared Dragon Ball off for some years in anime, live action, everything.
Yeah. Yep. They ruined it.
But I heard great things. I heard people love the One Piece live action joint. I heard people love that one.
Yeah. I've never watched One Piece yet because it's so long and it's still
Mhm.
continuing. So the idea that I'm going to start a show with 1,000 plus episodes is like, mm-mm. It would have to just end for me to kind of like tune in. But that's a long ways from now because they have a lot of source material, like a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll be trying to keep up with my friend Jarquez. Shout out to him, man. He does anime content and he be posting and talking about it a lot. I be trying to keep up with him. I be like, God damn, bro. I think even he told me he was like, bro, it's too much. It's too much to try to catch up right now.
yeah, it's a lot of source material with anime, but that's what I kind of like because there's a lot of storytelling and like a lot of lessons too. Like they don't just
Mhm.
make shit just to make shit like TV shows do. Like yeah, there is a money grab there because of the audiences, but overall, it's really just a story that grabs people. At least for me, like that's why I watch anime. The stories are the best part. So definitely, I think Death Note is a good one. Like that's a quick watch. You can binge that in 1 2 days, and
Oh,
then you
okay.
can kind of just yeah. You can kind of go through there.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Death Note, especially after the. Well, we shouldn't have been surprised that the Death Note live action was ass because it's Netflix. Netflix movies
Yeah,
suck.
Netflix is. Oh my god. Yeah. I keep seeing people talk about that new the Ice Cube movie. I don't even want to watch it because every video that I've seen has been negative comments. So I don't even want to. And I like Ice Cube too. Like that's the crazy
Oh,
part. Like that was my guy. But I see some clips and it just looked bad. It looked bad.
brother, when I tell you, when I
Yeah.
watched that movie from start to finish for content purposes because it was one of
Hmm.
those. I heard people talking about it. It's just the world's remake, huh? Ice Cube. I have to see that. And first thing you see on Amazon Prime is that you're like, huh. So there was no promotion. It literally just came up out of nowhere.
Yep.
So this
Facts.
tells me, especially with the way that the movie is produced and shot and how it takes place via this webcam footage all around, like this had to have been a movie that was shot in during the peak of COVID era. This had to have been sitting on a shelf ever since then.
Yeah.
Amazon knew what they had, and they were like, "We have this here. We could do the tax write off, or we could just dump this on Amazon Prime and just see how it
Yeah.
goes." Eh, I'm just, I'm just a loss for words and astonished. Just how could a filmmaker see what they were making with that movie and just sit there after shooting a take and be like, "Yeah, yeah, that's some shit right there. That's
Yeah.
some Oscar quality level acting right there." You got Ice Cube in one scene trying to having this
Man.
exposition dump, trying to explain everything. It sounds like he's reading off of the paper for the first time ever. Yes, these characters, it's critical condition, just in case whoop de whoop. Like, whoa. It looked like
Damn, Ice
it was
Cube.
the first time he ever read that script the way he was reading off that, bro. So just it's so bad, it's funny. It's so bad, like in a way, like I want to discourage you from watching it, but I want to say I want you to watch it just to see how bad it is. And it's like
Yeah.
it's easily the worst movie of the year, but I'm stuck at a crossroads. Like, would this be an easy cop out to give this movie worst of the year just because it's based off of this, or should I still give that to the weekend's Hurry Up Tomorrow? Because that movie just pissed me off to no end. That movie.
I ain't
So
gonna
it's
lie.
just
I can't touch his projects.
don't, bro, don't
Anytime I
watch
hear
that
anything
shit.
involved with him that's not music, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I feel like they're trying to force him into an actor, and he's just not. He's not resonating.
It's the weak. It's Abel. That we can call this government Abel with his self-indulgent bullshit. That's what all this was. It's just he had a lot of clout. He had this album. He got connects, and he just wanted to make his bullshit. And it's one thing to make a bad movie, but to make a movie to where I'm angry that I watched it is a whole nother. See, I wasn't angry that I watched War of the Worlds. I actually found somewhat of an entertaining time because of how bad it was. But Hurry Up
Yeah,
Tomorrow, I just sat there just um, I was contemplating walking out a couple occasions.
it's interesting because I seen he was in the movie with what's her name, Shawty from Wednesday.
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, so I'm like, if you were an actor of that low caliber, how do you get in a film with someone who's that popping? Like, how does that even happen? Like, it didn't even make sense to me. But then, kind of like you said, he's very popular. His music, he's huge, so he can kind of make those connections. I'm curious. What was I going to say? With Marvel, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about Marvel because it's probably going to be a minute since we get any movies. Um, did you see the Ironheart show? Are you a fan of that? What did you think of it? What do you kind of think of the state of the Marvel universe right now?
Yeah, so I did watch the Ironheart series. I had to do review articles about it. It's one of those shows where it's like it's the epitome of mid. It's not a terrible show per se. Like there's some good moments. Just as a whole, the way it came together, it was just like, oh, this thing's a mess. Like I didn't really care about most of the characters throughout. There was some character choices to where you're just like, really, and like small spoiler. Just there's a scene where it's like involving little Riri and her mom. Shit hits the fan, and Riri's trying to tell her mom, like, "Yo, we gotta go. We gotta get you hidden, whoop de whoop, because there's a lot of heat on them." And then the mom, a black mom at that, is like, "No, we need to stay here and fight." I'm just like, no fucking black mom, no mom, period, will sit there and be like, "Oh, we need to stay here and fight." What are you gonna do to fight? You don't have an armored suit. What are we doing here? It's just it was clearly a show that was made in the previous regime, where because the previous regime was enforcing Marvel to just pump out as much content as possible for the streaming service, and that's kind of what tainted the brand a bit.
Yep.
And so they had to get the old regime back in play to put shit back in order. So yeah, this was Ironheart was a series that was produced in that previous regime, and then they just, because it was sitting on a shelf somewhere already done, they just kind of just was like, "Fuck it, let's drop it." We're gonna probably use one or two of these characters at a later date, so it's here just to have for the network for viewers.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of just you notice it just came and went, and nobody's talked about it no more. That
Facts,
that's
literally.
that's the epitome. That should tell you all you need to know about the show. It's here and it's gone.
Wow. Yeah, I'm very on the fence with Marvel because it's confusing because we see Fantastic Four, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great movie, but then you kind of see
Loved
the box office numbers,
it.
and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, well, it seems like it's not resonating with people. What do you think that discrepancy comes from?
Yeah. So what that is like when you've been on a stretch to where you're dropping hit or miss after you've been for three phases of peak, you're definitely going to suffer some consequences for that, and we're seeing those consequences come into play for Marvel.
Yep.
Because let's not forget, Captain America: Brave New World was pretty mid too. That movie just came and went too. We already forgot about that. That's in the back of our minds. So then you were just dropping all these products on Disney Plus to where it kind of felt like as an audience member we had to do homework to keep up with what's
Yeah.
going on in the MCU, to keep track of what it is. Like with the Marvels, like if you did not watch WandaVision or Miss Marvel, you may not know who Miss Marvel is. Even with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness,
Yep.
if you did not watch WandaVision, you'd kind of be lost, dude, because it's just like, what the fuck? Wanda's just
Yeah.
evil as hell, just murdering folks left and right. What? And even in WandaVision, like the direction they had Wanda go, it's kind of like, well, damn, she just went straight evil in this movie.
Yeah.
It was
Out
kind
of
of like she
nowhere.
was like borderline, like learning from her mistakes. Like being remorseful, but still like being tempted because of the love for kids. It's just there hasn't been true cohesiveness in the MCU, and then the quality dip of some projects outside of Guardians 3, No Way Home, Shang-Chi, Miss
Yep.
Marvel, and Loki. So when you've been dropping multiple projects that are mid or people don't like, you're just suffering the consequences. And so that's what happened. Unfortunately, Fantastic Four is feeling the brunt of that. And
Hmm.
Thunderbolts wasn't quite as successful because, like we said, those are a bunch of characters that you are introduced to on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yes, we got Florence Pugh and whatnot, but Ghost and all those are like B-level characters. Even though the movie is great, it's
Yeah.
you don't have that same amount of faith and trust that you once had with the audience to where you could drop a Thunderbolts like he was able to do with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Hmm.
they're just kind of trying to get their footing back. But I think, and even the CEO of Disney said it too, Bob Iger. He said like they're not tripping too hard off the box office of Fantastic Four because previous Fantastic Four movies they haven't done the greatest, and then the Fantastic Four as a comic book property isn't the strongest. But they're gonna get that bump after they appear in the Avengers movies and the audience are able to see them more. And then with the first movie
Yeah.
being as good as it is, like they're gonna do eventually do a Fantastic Four too. So the box office is definitely gonna go up. I feel on the sequel.
Yeah. So with that being said, how do you feel about Avengers Doomsday coming up? Like, are you excited for this movie? Do you see potential? Robert Downey Jr. is making a return. He got the big bag. We all have high hopes.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, no doubt, just because it's the Avengers at the end of the day, Doomsday. And Kevin Feige, he said he was talking to Robert Downey Jr. about this idea of him being Doom. So they've been working on this idea. I want to say dating back to, I wouldn't be surprised they were talking about this dating back to like 2023, probably I'd say.
Mm,
They was probably talking about this for a hot minute, like, okay, this is something we could possibly do. So they definitely have an idea in place. Then bringing back the Russos and the writers of Infinity War and Endgame as well. You have something there.
yep.
And with Doomsday, I'm a little bit worried because it's reports like the script isn't fully finished in a way, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like I'm not gonna sit there and say like the script is outright unfinished. They have to have some type of template, like of a completed script, no doubt. And they're constantly doing revisions. It's just all the more glaring now and more worrisome now just because of previous projects that have been chopped in the editing room and midst of filming, doing reshoots and whatnot. You could just tell back when Marvel was at its peak and they were kind of doing their way of retooling, quality control. It was for the better. And with the previous projects, it's kind of like, eh, you could tell just some scenes feel off. Like going back to Doctor Strange 2, Wong's hair in some scenes was noticeably off. Like it was like all 1 minute he has a buzz cut, next minute he has a fucking afro. You could, so it's like shit like that. But Doomsday, I'm excited because you got the F4 in there. You're gonna have the X-Men in there. It definitely sounds like they have some
Mm,
really cool and interesting ideas in place. It's just all about that final product and just really, and what they're gonna have to do from the jump is that you're gonna have to, in a way, explain why does this Doctor Doom look like Tony Stark. You have to outright explain the full details. You have to give in a basic idea and premise to get the audience engaged. Like, man, Tony Stark, the guy who's Tony Stark is all of a sudden a villain. So if they're able to get us hooked and engaged and follow along the ride instantly from the beginning of the film to follow Downey as Doom, I think they're going to be okay.
yeah, I hope so, man. The fact that the script isn't done is kind of crazy to me, considering that
Mm-hmm.
they're filming right fucking now. You're telling me you don't have a script that's done, and I'm hearing rumors that this budget is $1 billion fucking dollars.
Now that I
So
wouldn't believe, don't believe it's a billion. I'd say more
yeah,
so. It's definitely past 300 mil. I'll tell you that
it
it's
has to,
definitely
bro. With the people
past
that's in
300
this
mil.
movie, though,
Yeah,
yeah, like you spending like 50 mil just on Robert Downey. Then you got Thor and all these other people who become bigger that you got to pay.
they are
So
not
I feel
cheap
like
at
you might
all.
be, yeah, you might cross 200-300 million just by paying people,
Yep,
and then you got production costs and obviously promotion and stuff. I'm very nervous, but as long as they don't push it back again,
mm,
I think it should be fine. If they push it back again, then I think people are gonna really start being concerned about what
yeah,
type of product we're gonna get.
because that's going to ultimately affect Secret Wars as well. Because if you're pushing Doomsday
Yep.
back, you have to push Secret Wars back a whole nother year. But I think because it was originally May of next year, giving it that extra 7 months, I'm like, okay, that's a nice cushion room right there.
Yeah.
Because it's still like a years out and whatnot. It was like well over a years out. So and then releasing around Christmas time, I think that's a good spot and a good amount of time because I'm not worried from a visual effects standpoint because before cameras are rolling, they're working on they're working on editing scenes and whatnot right then and there from the get go. They're working on
Yeah.
putting them together and everything. So I'm not worried about that. It's just the overall story and just keeping us engaged that I'm more so intrigued about. So
Agreed.
it's gonna be interesting.
So I got one last question before we get you out of here about a franchise that's arguably the biggest franchise in movie history. We got Avatar 3 coming out this year. Uh, how do you feel about that franchise? I feel like a lot of people are iffy about it. Are you a fan? Have you seen the previous movies? What do you rank that among films?
So for the longest of time, I used to sit there and be like oh, the first Avatar movie is good, but it's single the most overrated movie of all time, just because it was so much buzz and talking. Like from a storytelling perspective, it's like it's all right. But then I kind of eased up on it a little bit over time. Like, okay, I see what James Cameron's doing here. It's just Dancing with Wolves in space is that first Avatar movie. That's all that is. But but Avatar 2, I was like, oh shit, I'm an Avatar fan now. I love this movie. And really, what got me to loving it was just the overall experience watching it in the theater. And I think the story too was absolutely a lot more stronger than the first one. I love the characters and the world they built out. And just that the 3D effect definitely helped it. I watched it in Dolby 3D, and boy, was
Mm,
that shit some of the most realistic 3D I've
wow.
ever experienced in life. Oh my god, like the underwater sequences where you got the water bubbles and then it's raining. I'm like, I'm over there trying to touch him, like, yo. Yeah, sorry in the background, my cat's knocking shit down.
All good. Yeah, that's crazy because a lot of people seem to think that this franchise is overrated. Um, because you hear, rumors that bro, they're trying to do like 7 movies. I'm like, how? Like James Cameron saying that he want to direct all of them. I'm like, bro, you getting old, and what it's 2025 and we've only seen 2 movies. And this first movie came out what 2009? So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, that it seems like there's a fan base for it. I mean, both movies have done like well over $1 billion, which is nuts. So hopefully they deliver on this third one because I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, so I think he says he wants to do a fourth and fifth one, which he essentially shot parts of Avatar 4 already, just because to keep with the continuation, because I think more so it's going to focus on the kids in Avatar 4 and
Yeah.
5, and they're going to eventually do a time jump to where they're older. So they shot, like, I want to say, like, about
Mm,
the first act of Avatar 4. So you have a generalized idea, and some scenes already shot. So Avatar 3, he said that the way he shot Avatar 3 and he crafted it, it's like just in case if Avatar 4 and 5 weren't greenlit, that it's the perfect trilogy capper. But if they were to be greenlit, then it leaves room to continue on to Avatar 4 and 5. So
mm,
listen, it at this
okay.
point, it's just all a matter of James Cameron's health right now on if
Yeah.
Avatar 4 and 5 can get made. Because just knowing how James Cameron is, he definitely has a pretentious side. He has a shit talking, big chest out ego of himself, which honestly he rightfully earned just based off of his track record and his success. To where I don't even think he would even remotely let anybody else direct another Avatar movie. He would veto that shit immediately and
Yeah.
kibosh that idea right from the fucking get go. That's how much these Avatar movies are his baby. So if his health is good, which he says he's good to go, Avatar 4 and 5, I don't see why we don't get him. Now, where it would become a problem is if we gotta wait till fucking 2040 for technology to get better, because that's why we had to wait for Avatar 2 all those years. He was waiting on the technology to get better for the underwater sequences. So as long as there ain't no like, oh,
mm.
we gotta advance technology and wait for this and that, then we should get another Avatar movie in about another 3-4 years per se.
Wow. Waiting 10 plus years for a technology advance is insane. But I
No,
agree with
hey,
that. Like,
listen,
I don't
you
think
know
you should
what it
allow.
was with the
Yeah.
first Avatar? What's the name? You know he was sitting on the first Avatar movie, that script back in the 90s. It was just sitting on the
Wow.
shelf in the
Wow.
90s back in the day. And he literally was like, no, the technology not here yet to make this movie. So we gonna wait.
Mm,
The audacity to think you gonna live that long to wait for technology to advance to make a movie and do it again. That's just
again, for 10 years? I'm just surprised that, like, the gap between the first and second movie, like, people still tuned in, bro. Like, you just
yeah.
don't see that. Like, that's crazy to me. That's what, 15,
Yeah, I
15,
think
16 years?
yeah, the first one came out in '09, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was about 10, 11, 12 years. 11,
yeah.
12 years.
And I think they didn't start filming the second one until I was like, well, what was I, like a junior in college? I want to say is when they started filming, because I remember
Wow.
following that whole process. I'm like, wait, when I was looking at it, it's like, yeah, we started filming Avatar 2. I'm looking, I'm like, you're just now starting filming. And then what
That's
didn't help is that COVID also pushed the shit back too. So that's probably another
yeah.
reason why it took as long. So if COVID
Yeah.
never came through, we probably would have got it maybe about a year earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's definitely a movie that I feel like is probably gonna do insane numbers again.
Yeah, and don't do
Yeah.
yourself a disservice. This is definitely going to be a movie in the two formats: Dolby 3D or IMAX 3D. Or if
Yeah,
you
I
really
like for
just don't
sure.
want the 3D, watch it in just straight IMAX.
Yeah, definitely. So any other topics, anything we forgot, anything you wanted to touch on to say before we get you out of here?
Real quick, man, if you want to go real quick, spoiler free, man, let's talk weapons real quick. Let's actually talk in the town
Mm,
to cap this off. Weapons.
yes.
What did you
Yes.
think of the movie overall? Just based your overall perception after watching the movie.
It was interesting because the first like 30 minutes I was so confused. Like I was with my shorty and we were just like what is going on here? Like especially the first act when we were following what's her name's character? Jennifer Gardner, I think her name is. And I was like, hold up. Like how does any of this have to do with her, the kid? Like what's going on? But as
Mhm.
things start to kind of unfold, I'm like, oh, okay, and you can kind of see the theme with that house and everyone kind of running towards the directions. So I enjoyed it. Outside of like the ending, which kind of was weird to me and the way they ended it, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I don't really think it was a horror movie. It really
Yeah.
just felt like a thriller. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really think it was a horror movie, but it was pretty good. I liked it. Um, I thought everyone kind of did a good job. The acting was good, shot well. So I enjoyed it. Definitely would recommend people to go see that. You?
Yeah, me too, man. I loved it, man. Like you said, those first 30 minutes, because it's a slow burn of a movie. That doesn't mean the movie is slow. It's a slow burn, just taking its
Yeah.
time, letting everything unfold and taking its time telling the story. So, without
Yep.
spoiling, I'm going to be as vague as possible. Just the different, because it takes place from different points of views of characters. And I love how they just slowly just brought it all together, like you said.
Hmm.
And just too, it's like the way that it was shot. Like there were some tracking shots towards the third act where shit hits the fan, and it's like kind of like a POV tracking shot. I won't say exactly the details of it, but I just love the little technical aspects like that because it just keeps you engaged, and the tension is just up at its highest. It is just like, holy fuck! It's like, what did I just watch just now?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I agree with you. It's more so of a thriller than horror. But that's my type of horror. I like horror thriller where it kind of leans more
Yeah.
towards the thriller side. And
Yep.
but I've been slowly but surely becoming more of a fan of horror over the years, just because the 2000s was a lot of schlock and bullshit. But now what they've been doing is kind of innovating it to where you got movies like this. That's the horror thriller blend of the two, and I loved it, man. There's definitely some horror elements, like some key jump scares and just moments
Yeah.
of silence that are just ease up to where you don't know what's gonna happen. And I loved how he was able to blend the two together, man. And it's just that was a fucking movie, all right.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed that experience. I've been watching a lot of movies the last few weeks, like at least like one a week, because I just been seeing stuff. I'm like, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. And I seen what's her name? She was in Fantastic Four too. So I'm like, damn, she in this too. Like, she on a little bit
Mhm.
of a run right now. I gotta go. I gotta go check this out. And she was good in that movie. I seen Josh Brolin was in that movie. My God, Dano. So I had to go see that. And yeah, he was good too. I feel like he had. I wish he had a little bit more of a role, got more screen time in that movie, just because I think he's a great actor. But outside of that, it was a great movie.
And funny enough, after the director just revealed, man, this would have been another month where we see a Pedro Pascal movie. If this would have turned out originally how it was supposed to be, because Pedro, he said it, he already confirmed it. The role Josh Brolin was in, that was originally supposed to be Pedro Pascal's, but because of the writers and
Mm,
actors strikes that went on, everybody's schedules went up in flux to where Pedro, he couldn't even stay on for that movie to do it. So he said he had to recast the entire movie,
wow.
which I don't know the full extent. He didn't go into too much detail of who else he had to recast, but yeah, that was supposed to be Pedro Pascal in that role. In which, after watching the movie, I'm like, I could see why you have Pedro Pascal in that role, and I could see
Yeah.
exactly how Pedro would play off that role and how he would bring that character to life.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, bro, just, like he don't need to be in every movie, bro. Like I seen a graphic. They were saying he's been in like 9 movies in the last like year and a half, which is crazy. I'm curious, like what his filming schedule is like because he's literally in everything. Like, and he's a Marvel guy now, so his rise has been one of the craziest things I've ever seen in Hollywood. Like since that Last of Us show, he he been eating. Yeah,
Even before that, because he the Mandalorian.
yeah,
It
yeah.
got
That
so much
too.
to the point where like his schedule is so busy, they could like, yo, we gonna call you on set for like a week or so to film these scenes without the helmet, and then when we got to put the helmet back on, you can go off. We'll just put somebody else under the helmet. Like that's just how busy
Bro,
he is. I
that's
wouldn't be surprised if it's
crazy.
like he has multiple film projects that's happening at once, and they're low key happening in the same locations, to where they're like, okay,
Yeah,
we got you for this amount of like 2 weeks or so. All right, you can jump to do this movie for a couple of days, and then we need you back on this set to film these scenes because actors, their schedules, there's not like they're not all like 6 months in advance and whatnot. It just varies. Like you can squeeze in some other things in between. Like if you're not needed on set for this day for this scene, you're like, okay,
hmm,
there's something going on like just across the street, or if there some movies film at the same studio lot. So we're like, okay, let me
yep.
just walk on right over here, film my scenes, and then I'm gonna come back. So it's probably a lot of that going on just because, yeah, his who else is probably making agent money with Pedro Pascal? His agent. He's getting them back ends like
Yeah,
crazy. I'm already knowing it.
crazy, bruh. Holy shit, bro. Like he might be one of the most working actors right now. To be honest, like I don't see anyone who's in as many projects as him. Like, and he
Yeah.
probably got more stuff coming out that no one's kind of talked about yet.
Yeah. To me, it just tells me like it's just when you see somebody like Pedro Pascal constantly being casted in these roles and he's a great actor as is, that just tells me that people love working with him and he's a joy to have on set
Yeah.
because he's gonna look out for his castmates and the crew. Like he's not gonna be a dickhead actor like, oh, feed me my orange mimosa at this time. I need my bathroom break and only Fiji
Yeah.
water delivered to me on set. Like, no, he's not doing all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he seems like a really chill guy. I seen him some interviews of him in with the Fantastic Four. They look like they was like a real close knit family. People was spreading some rumors about him and Vanessa Kirby because they was looking a little close. I'm like, hold up, is there something there? Because the way she touching on him, bro, is hey,
Yeah, they probably just they was definitely just playing up to it, especially at the fact that she's real life pregnant too.
yeah, which is crazy. I didn't even know that too. That's wild.
Yeah,
Wow.
so and she's gonna be filming. If you didn't know, she's gonna be filming some scenes on Avengers Doomsday while she's pregnant. Now they could easily write her
Wow.
pregnancy into that movie, but I doubt they're gonna want to do back to back movies where she's pregnant. So
Yeah.
they're just gonna CGI out her belly just like they did with Scarlett Johansson because she was pregnant during the filming of Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Wow. Damn. Wow. It's a good. Thank God for CGI because yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, man. Unless you have anything else, we'll get you out of here. This was a fun little conversation. Definitely tapped in. We're gonna definitely have to run this back once we get some more news. I think Forces we're just waiting on Power Book Force at this point. Yeah, I want to see what's going on with that. And
Man,
be
bro,
able to
I
get
was
some more
hoping and
streams on
praying
it.
it was going to possibly be a September release, but we're in August. September's out the window, so we have to pray and hope for
Yeah,
an October release.
yeah. Until we get a trailer, we won't even know. Because usually when they drop a trailer, then we know, okay, we got like a month or two until the release. But they're not really putting nothing out. Stars is just weird with their promo stuff. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
before we end too, I think people keep saying like, "Oh, BMF, they haven't announced the show's over." Keep saying season finale, so there's still a chance. But
Yep.
I want to use that as argument against it. Like, I think there's a chance it does get canceled because they haven't announced it yet. Because you don't want to announce that a show is canceled in the midst of it airing, because then it's going to turn people off from wanting to
Mm.
watch. Like, well, if the show's already ending and we're not getting another season, why the fuck do I need to watch the last few episodes?
Yep.
So I think just because they didn't announce the season renewal yet, and they keep saying season finale, don't get it fucked up. Don't be surprised if like a month later after the season finales, we're not moving forward with a season 5. And honestly, I think it's for the best.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. If they didn't get greenlit early, I think yeah, 50-50 probably put a veto on that shit. I'm with it. Let it go. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Definitely gonna circle back in a few months when we got some more topics to discuss for sure.
Hell yeah, man. I'm def tapped in with the force for surely.
Yes, sir.